It's despicable that a reputable head coach could come out and say this when he doesn't get his way or things don't go his way. The narcissist in him doesn't allow those things to happen, and it's ridiculous. But when he's not on top, and the parity in college football he's been talking about, go talk to coaches who coach for him. You'll find out all the parity. Go dig into wherever he's been. You can find out anything. Some people think they're God. Go dig into how God did his deal. You may find out about a guy that a lot of things you don't want to know. We built him up to be the czar of football. Go dig into his past.
Have you had any contact with Nick since?
No. Oh, he's called.
You just didn't take the call?
Not going to. We're done.
And
he shows you who he is.
And then I just wanted to.
He's the greatest ever, huh?
And then I just wanted.
When you got all the advantages, it's easy. You can call me anything you want to call me. You ain't calling me a cheat. I don't cheat and I don't lie. So I learned that when I was a kid. If you did, the old man slapped you side of the head. Maybe somebody should have slapped him.
Is it going to be awkward?
And awkward about what?
When you have to face it or have to.
I don't mind confrontation. Lived with it my whole life. Kind of like it myself. Like we said, never has been parity. Certain people never follow the rules anyway.
4 days later, that is as powerful as it was. We didn't get a chance to hear from Chris about it, though, because on Friday he was in the hammock with the pina colada in one hand. Left hand, there's probably something smoking on the end down there that we can't see.
Big fatty.
Peter King and I spent a full hour talking about it on Friday, and I don't have much more to add to it. I'm just curious about your thoughts on it, because to me it was seismic. And in West Virginia, as a West Virginian, with Nick Saban, who grew up 20 minutes away, Jimbo Fisher from the town that's connected to the town we live in, he's from Clarksburg, and Saban, again, from just up the road. And it's Hatfield and McCoy stuff, guys who worked together at one point. This explosion that happened last week, all driven by the fact that we are in the Wild West days of name, image, and likeness. And, you know, people had still been saying up until last week, this is Nick firing a warning shot at college football. It is not a warning shot. It is an SOS. He knows he is not going to be able to compete. I think that's where all of this comes from, and it's coming to fruition in, for example, Texas A&M, as he said, buying its entire recruiting class and emerging with a better class of recruits than Nick Saban could.
I think it's a little bit of all of it. I do think he cares about college football. I think to also, he might be worried about his advantages. Yeah, Texas A&M, is if anybody knows anything about college football, man, they got a lot of oil cash there. So that maybe scares him to a degree. But when it comes to this argument, I'm on Team Saban with this one. I am. First off, all Saban just said was they paid for all their players with a name, image, and likeness deals. He didn't accuse them of cheating or doing anything dirty or anything. You know, Jimbo crossed the line and went personal on Nick Saban. So that to me is the first thing wrong, all right? And then Jimbo wants to talk about, it's been uneven. It's been uneven because Nick Saban's great. That's why it's been uneven. Alabama wasn't good, and he got there, and they went great. Now, is he a Boy Scout? So, certainly not. I'm sure Alabama hasn't been the perfect. Nobody is in college football, and I think Saban's probably the least of the crew, let alone, Alabama, all the players they have there, all the good players they have there, all the stand-up kids that come out of that school, almost nobody ever in trouble once they get to the NFL. It's limited. So, to me, I'm more on the Saban side here. Saban just said they paid. And I think he said it, one, because he's worried about college football, and two, probably because he's worried about his own boosters. And he's going, hey, Alabama boosters, I've given this school $97 zillion since I've been here. Can we throw some cash up here? You know, that's what I think it's also about, too. But, as far as the argument's concerned, first off, I think Jimbo went below the belt. And he's not Nick Saban. And I think Saban's kind of doing both a little. He's doing a few things there with those comments.
Well, Saban said that Texas A&M bought their players, and that's not how it works. The name, image, and likeness money comes from a different pool altogether. The school isn't allowed to coordinate the booster money to funnel to the players. And what Saban said brought it all together and implied, if not expressly accused, the program of buying the players.
Sure.
The program still can't buy the players. And he got into it with Deion Sanders, the Jackson State head coach, too. He had some comments about an NIL deal, overstated the value, apparently. And Saban backtracked. Saban said, I shouldn't have singled them out. And I was making more of an observation about the fact that this money's there and it's unchecked. And one thing Saban and Fisher agree upon, Chris, is that there needs to be some sort of national legislation. Congress needs to get involved to put some guardrails on what can be done. But I said this Friday, why would Congress want to in any way impede the ability of people to give money to other people? What is American about that? Well, we don't like the idea that this guy wants to give money to that guy. We don't want that to happen. Well, people give money to people all the time. You choose to do what you want to do with your money. I don't think the federal government is going to create some system that freezes out and limits the ability of people, whether it's oil money or coal money or whatever money, to give it to these players as an inducement to get them to go to a given school. I just don't think Congress is going to get in the middle of that. This is something the NCAA is going to have to figure out on its own.
100%. The NCAA's got to figure it out. I mean, they're crazy. Of course all the boosters are involved in this. What are you talking about? Some of these name, image, and likeness things, you go, where's the name, image, and likeness? They're not doing anything with them. What is there? What are we paying for? Oh, that's right. They just paid for them to come to school here because there was just a way to hide around that. So that's where I think Nick Saban was making the point and taking a shot, at A&M as well. But I think it's everybody. I think that's the thing you hear if you read or follow this at all. That's going to be the dirty part of it. Yes, the boosters from these schools are going to get together and come together with some NIL package for these players, whether it's legitimate or not, and they're going to frame it that way. And that's where the NCAA is going to have to figure out some bylaws or how they want to approach this, even if they do.
But you can't.
I know,
Any
right?
rules that you put on it become antitrust violations.
Yeah, right.
For years, the schools hid behind the NCAA, which created uniform rules that applied to all of these different businesses that were hiding behind these rules, and they've been exposed as antitrust violations. There's no easy way out of this. But it is one hell of a grift. And I don't want big college coming after me, okay? I got enough issues without the university system taking me on. However, I will say this. I am very impressed by the entire grift. I've commented in the past on the retail price of a college education and all the scholarships they start giving you. Hey, you get the I Know My Own Name scholarship. Congratulations. You get the you're at least 16 years old scholarship. Congratulations. You get the Can Walk in a Straight Line scholarship. Congratulations. Like they give out, they have this huge price. They chop it down. There's all these games that are played. There's still a lot of money that flows into the system. And on top of it, Chris, the whole concept of the booster. Think about that for a second. We talked about this on Friday. I want to get your take on it, though. What NFL teams, what professional sports organizations have this group of fans who are so over the top, they're just throwing money at the players? They're just, here's $1 million for nothing. There's not a compulsion by rich people to help professional football teams, but there's this over-the-top desire by plenty of people, sea to shining sea, to fork over big money to help tip the scales in some way, to help their favorite college football team win games. And it is weird. When you think about it, it is weird that it happens. Because what are you really getting out of it as a booster? What are you really getting? And why aren't you boosting other programs, too, that you care about?
Well, because most of them, they're boosting the program that they're indebted to, that they went to school at, that they have a real affection for, and their heart and soul is with the culture of that. That's what's cool about college football. That's where there's a following. I mean, the pros, again, the players are making money. College, it's kids, and I think the other play that plays into this, Mike, and you hit on this a lot. It's semi, for lack of a better way for me to figure out how to say this right now, oligarchish. It's just on a smaller level. It's guys, it's a bunch of rich guys at a school who they can't own a professional team and they're never gonna, but this kind of feels like they're part of an owner of a professional team. Hey, I got this guy here. Oh, the coach sends me all this gear, and I get to go to practices when I want, and I'm at
stand on the sideline during the game.
Exactly right.
Get on TV.
So that's where I think there's the other aspect of that to the college level.
It is amazing when you think of it that way, and I can't help but wonder whether or not the NFL looks at this and say, gee, is there a way we can get some fans sufficiently inspired to give us and our players a bunch of money for nothing, a little circumvention of the salary cap? It really is amazing, though, that it never comes up in the NFL, but it's so ingrained in the way college sports are. And I went down that path the other day, Chris, because I said, look, the solution is unionize all the players, then you can have set rules, then you can have a salary cap. Then you just make it basically professional football in a different environment. Once that happens, maybe that's when the boosters start saying, why do you need us? Why do you need us? You've got your system. You're basically NFL junior. Why do you need us? But it's a good point. It's an opportunity for the fat cats to be big shots and feel like they are in some way helping the cause and getting access and getting gear and getting to do all sorts of stuff with their money.
No doubt.
How much other crap can you buy? So you go out and you try to make a difference that way. Anyway, it's not going away for college football. It's not going away. There's no easy solution, and expect more chaos, not less, as time goes by.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.